Sis, welcome or welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing a quick get ready with me makeup edition. This was like a date night makeup look, so a quick 15-minute beat, and I used all drugstore makeup. So let's get into how I created this look. So first we're starting off with moisturizer. I'm using my Olay Active Hydration Beauty Fluid Lotion. This used to be a go-to back in the day and I kind of stopped. So we're bringing this back and I just use this to really moisturize my skin. My skin, I don't know if you guys could see, has been acting up. My hyperpigmentation's coming back. It's been dry. It needs some TLC. So we definitely had to moisturize. Now we're going in with some primer. I took my NYX, the face glue. Now I wanted my makeup to stick and grip onto my face. And I love this application because as soon as you put it on, you're not going to feel the grip take effect. It's actually a really hydrating primer, but the grip comes into effect after. So I love the fact that it's not as grippy as soon as I put it on. So we started off with that. Now for brows, I'm going to use my e.l.f. Brow Lift and my Revlon Color Stay Micro Brow Pencil in the shade Soft Black. And taking the spoolie end of that brow pencil, I'm just using the brow gel to slick up all my brow hairs. And then I took the lid of the other side of the brush to flatten it, and then again back with the spoolie to shape it. So it's a real process here for my brows. I wanted really natural brows for this look, and you could see the difference between both sides, what that did for me. So again, I like to brush my brow hairs up and just shape it into place with the spoolie. And then of course, taking the brow pencil, I honestly use brow strokes to just mimic the look of brows. I like a really natural looking brow, so you can see that I'm just taking really light strokes with this brush. And I love that it's micro because it gives me that illusion rather than filling in the brows and kind of making it dark. I didn't want dark brows. I wanted really natural looking brows. All right, so foundation of choice today is my Maybelline Superstay Lumi Matte Foundation, and my brush set is from BK Beauty. Shout out to BK Beauty for these brushes. I'm gonna go in with the mini contoured foundation brush, and then I took 2 pumps of this foundation. It's a really lightweight foundation, but the coverage, y'all, is immaculate. Like, you guys are gonna see in a second when I do the side-by-side comparison of what this did. Like I said, I have hyperpigmentation going on my skin right now. Look what one layer of that did. So that's one side compared to the other. That has hyperpigmentation in that area. Watch how this covers and just really conceals that. I didn't have to do any spot correcting with this foundation. It's really a good full coverage, but lightweight, heavy on the lightweight. So now I'm gonna go in with a bit of liquid blush. I'm taking my e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush and my e.l.f. Liquid Blush Brush to apply this. And I like to take some on the back of my hand to really just disperse that product evenly on my face. So you can see I just go in on both sides with that product and then just start blending it out. I feel like for me this works. I'm not really confident, or I wouldn't say confident, but I really like knowing how much of the product I'm going to be putting on my face. So I like to just go in with my liquid blush that way. So yeah, I'm just blending this out, and this blush is super subtle. So if you're someone who's a little bit scared to use liquid blush, go for this one. So for concealer today, I'm taking my L'Oreal True Match Serum Concealer, and we're just gonna focus this on the inner corners of the eyes. I just wanted to really conceal it, and I'm taking my BK Beauty brush, the concealer brush. This is a large concealer brush, so it really helped to blend out my concealer pretty quickly because it's so large. It's still tapered, so I'm able to get right underneath the eyes, which is what I like. But if you're someone who's in a rush, using the larger concealer brush really helps to just blend that out super quickly. So I like to start off with blending out the edges, just really blend it into the blush so that everything just blends together really seamlessly, and then I work on the inner corners. And here I'm just going in with one more layer of that concealer. All right, and then taking that same concealer, I just took my flat brush. This is the only brush I use for this. This is just gonna clean up my brows and just really shape it up. So I'm just taking that concealer and just applying it to shape my brows, and then I'm also taking it to conceal my eyelids as well. So you guys are gonna see in a second, I put a bit on my eyelids. And then taking that same BK Beauty concealer brush, we're gonna blend everything together. So this is just going to conceal your eyelids. If you're someone who suffers with dark eyelids like myself, this really helps to just conceal and cover that darkness on your eyelids. So of course I'm going to do the other areas as well, and I'm just taking a bit of that concealer in all of those areas that we usually highlight and just blend it out. So you guys are seeing this is real time. I didn't do any cuts. This is how easy it is to blend out the concealer with this BK Beauty brush. So definitely a really good beginner friendly brush that I would recommend, especially if you're having trouble with blending. All right, so we need to set, of course. So I'm going in with my CoverGirl Clean Invisible Setting Powder in the shade Translucent Deep and a velour puff. And all I'm doing is setting all of my highlighted areas. I love this setting powder because it blends seamlessly into my skin. It doesn't alter or change anything. Like I said, it is translucent, but definitely really good for my women of color. So you don't have to worry about this being such a bright setting powder. It's really neutral and translucent, so it's still gonna give skin. You can see how everything came together with that. And then I'm going to go in with my e.l.f. Halo Glow Pressed Powder and the BK Beauty Small Flat Powder Brush. And we're just going to apply this powder in the areas that we didn't use any powder. And this is just going to really complete the whole face and just make sure that every part of our face has powder, it's set, and everything just comes together seamlessly. So for bronzer today, I'm going in with my L'Oreal bronzer in the shade 500 Dark and the BK Beauty Dense Bronzer Brush. And we're just applying this in the contours of our face. So that's our cheekbones, our forehead, jawline, and the sides of our nose. I do have a detailed video on the difference between bronzer and contour. That's one of my latest videos. So if you haven't checked that out, I'll leave it on the screen for you to check out. But all we're doing is bringing back some warmth to the skin. All right, and then for powdered blush, I'm going in with my NYX Buttermelt Blush in the shade All the Butter and my Real Techniques blush brush. And this again is another subtle blush. If you're someone who is not really comfortable with blush, the two blushes that I use today is a really good beginner blush because they're so subtle. You're not going to get that wow factor like, oh my gosh, this is so much blush. It's so subtle and definitely beginner friendly. So I like having lashes, guys. So I'm going in with my Ardell Wispies and we're just gonna quickly pop these on. You do not need to use lashes for this look. If you want to go in with mascara, you can definitely do that. And speaking of mascara, I'm using my L'Oreal Telescopic Lift Mascara. And we're just gonna apply this to the bottom lashes. I feel like whatever you do to the top, you should do to the bottom. So because I have lashes on, I'm just gonna apply a bit of this mascara to my bottom lashes. And I also use it just to blend my natural lashes with the falsies as well. And then for lips, I'm using my CoverGirl Yummy Gloss. I just felt like with this face, I wanted a really fresh face look. So just applying a gloss, no liner, nothing, just a really nice subtle gloss really brings this look together. And last but not least, we want to set this in place. So I'm taking my L'Oreal Infallible 3-second setting spray, and this is just gonna lock this whole look in place. And voila, guys, this is the finishing look. I really love how this came out. Definitely a quick 10 to 15 minute look. Perfect for the summer, spring season, you guys already know. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't checked out my most recent video, I'll leave it on the screen, and I will see you guys in my next one.